Listen to your being. It is continuously giving you hints. It is a still small voice. It does not shout at you. That is true. If you are a little silent, you will start to feel your way. Be the person that you are. Never try to be another, and you will become mature. Maturity is accepting the responsibility of being oneself, whatsoever the cost, risking all to be oneself. That is what maturity is all about. Falling in love, you remain a child. Rising in love, you mature. By and by, love becomes not a relationship, it becomes a state of your being. Not that you are in love. Now you are love. Nobody can say anything about you. Whatsoever people say is about themselves. But you become very shaky because you are still clinging to a false center. That false center depends on others. So you're always looking to what people say about you. And you're always following other people. You're trying to satisfy them. You're trying to be respectable. You're trying to decorate the ego. This is suicidal. Rather than being disturbed by what others say, you should start looking inside of yourself. Truth is not something outside to be discovered. It is something inside to be realized. Ashe. Get some hydration before this all begins. That's what I'm looking for. Welcome, friends. Welcome, friends. Let's go get some of this. Remember to stay hydrated, my friends. Water is awesome. live stream. What's good, Todd? I mean, life is good, water is good, existence is good. Drop B, tuning, yeah, is good. Philosophy is good. Ecstasy is good. Feminine energy is good. Truth is good. This is the third or fourth live stream that I visited. Nice. Very nice. Oh, of mine. Appreciate you, dog. Appreciate the support. Yeah. We are going places. I don't know. YouTube algorithm is blessing me. Is not too surprised, but it's dope as fuck. Yeah. I'm working through getting to become monetized, so I'm pretty hyped. I do believe. Where do I unlock this Red Dead Redemption 2 skin? I don't know, bro. You're asking where I buy my clothes. That's you just gotta go find it out. You gotta go to music festivals, bro. You gotta, you know. Yeah. Welcome, friends. Welcome, friends. Reverb is doing a lot of heavy lifting here, but I still dig it. It's doing the heavy lifting, but I'll be honest, what you're probably hearing more so is the alternate tuning that I created. Now, this is an alternate tuning. So I could flip off the reverb and this would sound dope as fuck, but I agree. Reverb lifts. It lifts beautifully. Yeah. Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. Welcome to this live stream, friends. I hope you find yourself somatically rooted. I hope you're finding yourself engaged in healthy dopamine, engaging in, just healthy connection, community, penetrating the programming. I feel like a lot of you, for whatever reason, you sit in a sort of weird unconscious realm. You don't understand what it really means to connect in the real world. You're disconnected from yourself. So, whether you find yourself present with you today, just enjoying this music, desiring to be a part of this community, I recognize, those that are sort of projecting your own sort of insecurities, your own misconceptions. You're free to do so. You have free will in this world, We're in this 3D world. It's a polarized realm. You can do whatever you desire, but I really invite you to just really take a step back and ask yourself, what do you actually desire to reinforce? What are you actually desiring to create? Because if you desire to create fragmentation, you desire to nurture this sort of negative, confused, lower vibrational energy, that's what's going to become. So, choose wisely, friends. Choose wisely. And yeah, if you don't align with the intention of this community, then, sit yourself out, brother. Yeah. I think you're not from Maggio Vagiola. What a name, my guy. I think I'm going to say that you're not a part of this community, brother. You're not my target audience, so you can take a seat, brother. You're welcome to listen, but honestly, you've lost your permission to, or your ability to just comment. Yeah? You don't seem like the kind of person that I want to be a part of this community, so goodbye. Yeah, peace. Trying else to seem cool, learn scales, probably. Trust, bro, I know scales. This is an alternate tuning. Yeah. Bless. Thank you, Jay. Appreciate you, dog. Yeah, if you're new to this community, welcome. Basically, I teach guitar. I do meditative sound journeys. I do various sort of constructs. I'm just a new YouTuber, new streamer, and yeah, I deeply love connecting with music. I like doing experimental sound journeys. I love to explore all these waters. So, I welcome you here. You're welcome to stay and connect. If you're a person that desires to project or just complain or just kind of fill the comment space with negativity, you're going to be swiftly kicked out or muted or whatever. So keep that in mind, friends, Precision of language. I don't really care. Like, I'm not here to filter you or censor you, but just, practice a bit of self-awareness, friends. It goes a long way. I know what an alternate tuning is. I don't know, bro. All I can say to Spooky, kind of like an extension to the homie that I just muted, right? A true musician, like if you're an actual musician, brother, if you're a musician that's been, treading those waters, navigating those waters for more than like a couple years, right? You're an actual musician. You would understand sort of the realms of how. No, yeah, great. No, it's dropped B. I went to 432 hertz tuning, and then I dropped these 4 strings down 2 steps, and then I dropped these ones down 1 step. So that's an alternate split key tuning. Yeah. Anyways, with that, I'm going to continue playing. Yeah. Again, bro, Spooky, you're kind of, I feel like you're not the kind to actually, you don't really have a deeper sort of perspective of music. You're kind of here just, sharing some sort of thoughts, but I mean, I don't know. It's drop B, yeah. Nice. So we're gonna have the best of both worlds. Now, bro, if you're, well, but welcome to this channel, I'd say. Like, you're clearly new to this channel, but I improvise literally for hours a day in standard. I have actually lots of original music on this channel. Feel free to check it out, but I love standard. I rock standard all the time. But yeah, I woke up today and was like, you know what? I'm really feeling like connecting with this drop B alternate tuning to challenge myself. Yeah, and then here we are. Can't wait to get new speakers though. And actually in 2 days I'm getting a new Ibanez guitar. So I'm pretty hyped on that. That's gonna be beautiful. I'm very elated for that, just to see the sort of the new ways I can engage in a lot of these like beautiful, rich harmonics, yeah. Yo, this is basically a 3D printed thumbnail. It's like an artificial harmonic thumbnail pick. Because I was doing strength training the other day and I actually broke my thumbnail, which is, yeah, these things happen. Nice. 7-string guitars are honestly beautiful. Yeah, I feel in the future I'd love to get like maybe a 7-string Jackson or something like that. But yeah. Yeah. Small details of those little spontaneous riffs. Thank you, dog. Yeah, again, I feel like this is a weird tuning that I developed. I mean, I've never heard anyone do this tuning, truthfully. It's like a drop B, but split key. So if you hear, this is the open. Makes for some really beautiful harmonics. So that's just been kind of what I've been feeling. Yeah. I appreciate you guys listening. I appreciate you sharing your perspective. Starting to get into alternate tunings too. It's wild. Like when I was covering Andy McKee, right? I was learning some Andy McKee songs, and he does quite a few really beautiful alternate tunings. And I was exploring those for a while, like 9 or 10 years ago when I was covering his music and learning the acoustic guitar. I've been focusing standard quite a lot lately, but yeah, I've really been attracted to creating these harmonically rich. I'm definitely subject to make mistakes, though, sometimes when I'm trying to switch keys here in these alternates. Turns off. I mean, yes and no. That's the thing is, I've been really familiar with, I like to scale a lot in E major, and also A sharp minor. It's basically like standard tuning. You'll just go through like the standard scales that are sort of flowing through here and through here. But when you switch to key to like an A sharp minor, right? Suddenly everything is just unorthodox, right? It's like all your scales are shifted. So if you understand even just the basic wave, you have a good awareness of how to scale through the major scale and the minor scale, then you basically can just apply that, like not even the major scale, minor scale, the major scale in a certain key, and then you shift the key. When you do something like this alternate tuning, right? I basically am in dropped B here, but then this one is in I think it's like a drop D sort of variant. So basically all I have to do is, it's kind of a mind fuck, but it's like, I know for a fact that this is in a similar alignment as my E major, but then this one is more like a, I don't know, I find it's a fun challenge, but yeah, I'm sure if you're trying to learn to key shift, it would be a mind fuck, and continuously, yeah, just a half a note away from being in key. Yeah, well, it's like, I feel like once, this is a thing I love to think about, is key shifting, like really like learning to key shift. It's basically, it requires, an awareness of the entire fretboard. And once you truly tap into the ability, like, okay, I'm in this key, now I'm in this key, and you intuitively can navigate that, then yeah, it's like you can do very little wrong, where you immediately recognize, okay, I've shifted this key, if you're to here to there, it's just one singular thing, and if you have the awareness of how to scale through the entire fretboard, it's not so complicated. Maybe you can make mistakes here and there if you're scaling and soloing through everything, but yeah, it's almost like there's ways to intuitively connect deeper. Chocolate hat. Yeah, I mean, this is actually a dark red, but the camera can't capture it. It's like a beautiful dark acid wash red. Yeah, it's the thing you only see in real life though. The alternate tunings are different depending on the intervals. Yeah, I mean, I don't really do a whole lot of alternate tunings. Like, this is one that basically, again, it's like a drop B, drop B, and like these two strings are more like I think it's like I don't know, I just dropped it a key, so it's a unique one, but that's the challenge, right? Hey, Shay, you resonate with the vibes, peaceful vibes. Thank you, brother. I'm feeling this right now, I'm feeling this beautiful sound. It's very like harrowing, very somber. Makes some really, really interesting sounds here. That was a mistake right there, technically, but it's fun though. It's fun, not recognizing half the time you can create like harmonic patterns that are just so unorthodox that just sound really beautiful, once you're in that. Definitely got to find a way to wear a bandana that doesn't cut off the blood flow with this hat. So learning different note placements and standard is one thing. Learning on tunings that aren't in fifths, all fifths, is different. Yeah, you got me there, man. I think music theory, it's like, the more I try to understand, like, the true essence of, like, music theory, that is, like, you penetrate the awareness of having a trained ear. Like, your ear understands how to compose, how to weave together improvisation, right? That's one skill. That's an important foundation. And then the secondary part is surely understanding how to, like, almost like break open the grid. If you understand music theory to a T, which I don't personally. I understand like a good, strong amount of music theory, but I couldn't pretend to say that I understand everything in music theory. And I think it's like, it's all very useful. It all has an application, but I think it has a time and place. Like, the difference between a musician who's trying to be like 3, 4, 5, 6 years in versus a musician who's like 10, 11, 15, 20 years in is surely one who's not only trying to make great music and compose great music, but also maybe learn how to explain it, how to break it down and connect to that, and do this with other musicians. And that's a whole nother skill set that I think I'm really happy to continuously learn and be open about. It's very emotional, even though just sitting and listening. It is. This tuning is very, it's like harrowing. It's very like somber. It's not a very like, I can switch to a happy key, but it's a very deep sound. That's kind of why I'm doing it. I think it's got a really complex sound that I can create some really beautiful compositions with, but I'm just new to navigating it still. And then with this baby, it makes it even more interesting. Always thought the bows are just gimmicks. Might have to buy one. Yeah, dog, that's the thing is, they are sort of gimmicky. Like, I feel like, if a person gets like a long-ass violin bow and they're just trying to, make it almost sound like a fiddle or something, I think that kind of sounds not really that great. But if you really like take the time, like this is violin rosin, right? You have to purchase the right type of rosin. You have to develop the right technique where you're striking the string at the exact spot. Or else it's going to sound very like grainy and very coarse. But if you do it right, it just sounds beautiful. Yeah, highly recommend, brother. You should check out the root of Vidna if you like sitar. Interesting. Honestly, yeah, I'm always down to look into different culture music. I mean, I'm not really that familiar with the sitar. Like, I find like the sitar is kind of it's an instrument that I think I would be drawn to, but there's a long list of instruments that I'm much more drawn to before that. Thank you. But yeah, there's many reasons why I really deeply love this tuning. You know, namely just being the way it sort of invites me to improvise in the B, in the scale of B, or the key of B. One second. Yeah, friends, welcome to this YouTube channel. I mean, very actively, I create meditative sound journeys. I like to teach guitar, and yeah, you know, I'm just on the grind to kind of just create this community, this portal that's really just revolving around musicians and people that are sort of in a similar realm. It's creating this kind of safe space, a meditative space. Nice, 1.2K subscribers. Nice. But yeah, very actively, I'm just on this grind to get to 4,000 watch hours. I think we can get there pretty quick. I mean, my watch hours have actually been boosting these last like 4 days, so. That being said, it's been interesting. Like, I've been getting hit with waves of people, which most are chill as fuck, some are kind of just unhinged. And that's just, seems to be the nature of YouTube. So the Willy Wonka hat. Nah, bro. It's a top hat that I designed. So I guess technically, I don't know if Willy Wonka rocks top hats. I think he rocks like a longer, different style of top hat. So basically, yeah, it's I guess a similar style. Yeah. I'm Willy Wonka, dog. That's no, I consider more like an 80s rock star hat, but yeah, bro. They're beautiful. Low E string tune to B. Yeah, it's basically it's a drop B, but I tuned it right off kilter. So it's basically what if you go to, you know, a standard tuning, it's in 440, and if you go right off kilter, it goes to 432 hertz. So I basically am in 432 hertz, but then I dropped it, yeah, to an alternate tuning. It's almost like, I honestly, if I haven't done the math, but I'm not sure what the actual frequency is, but it's basically like an alternate tuning, but it's slightly off, as is 4032. Yeah. Very nice. You should record these instruments and fully upload them. They'd be backtrust my daily routine. Very nice. I appreciate you sharing that, brother. I have actually had I've released a few recordings very actively. And there's a few things that are like, I'm kind of working on editing. I have like a few meditative sound journeys and then a few original compositions that I've created the last week or so. Kind of more like complex ones, but yeah, man. Oh yeah, bro, the hat is a reflection. Like, this is clear as day. I've only had this hat for like 2 days. I designed it like a few weeks ago. But very actively, yeah, 90% of the people are just like, you know, they're resonating and vibing with it. But it's clear that for some people, I think they're revealing to themselves, you know, just how little they desire to express themselves. You know, how little they're aligned with literally just expressing themselves. Like, it's like, you know, how foreign of an entity it is to just like rock clothing that resonates with you. It's like it seems like people struggle. People really struggle to express themselves. So deadass, like, if a person's like telling me like, man, that's insanity, or they're really triggered, good. Yeah, good. It's the same reason if I say things, if I say things that are like polarizing, or I'm expressing my truth, or talking about, metaphysical dimensions, or yeah, if I'm just rocking expressive clothing, it says a lot about people's character when they're kind of very moved by it, maybe not in a positive way. But that's okay. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that perspective, though. What is my setup right now? It's Tonewood amp. It's using this Tonewood amp, so it's a preamp. Yeah, it's a beautiful preamp that basically stretches out the natural reverberation. Mistakes. Mistakes just are a part of it. When there's more spaces for the spirit. Absolutely, friend. New cover surprise myth or vocals. Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah. Listen and reflect, guys. Let sounds bring nostalgia. Yeah. It's funny, like, I feel like it's interesting how some of these people, like, I feel like really blessed to attract a very interesting type of community, devoted musicians, people that seem to desire to, open their minds and their hearts and sort of just, express themselves, live an authentic truth. But it seems some people kind of forget. They forget the core nature of this kind of interaction. Like, it's almost like, in the simplest way, I kind of come to this conclusion a lot, if there's anything that I've learned a lot from live streaming, is a lot of people are disconnected with what it means to be a human. They've been disconnected with what it actually means to interact with real human beings. They're just, they're very chronically online. They're obsessed and fixated with these weird, fragmented loops and these broken patterns where basically they just need to touch grass. They need to probably put down their phone and go and interact with some real human beings. Because, yeah, it's like, this is a stream, brothers and sisters. Like, I don't have to entertain anything you're saying. Like, I can ignore, half of these comments, but I choose to, engage. I choose to let people speak their truth. People have free will, but inevitably it takes me literally like a quarter of a second just to permanently ban your ability to comment, for those of you that are just trying to, I don't know. And as for the hat thing, that's all good. That's all good, brother. I would say don't stress about it. Like, if you find yourself, suppressing yourself actively, then that's your prerogative. If that's how you live your life, or you don't feel comfortable expressing yourself, that's okay. This is the seed that's been planted. Maybe you'll find yourself one day celebrate the ability to express yourself. Maybe not. Again, I've been a guitarist, a performance artist for like 16 years, right? For me, this is like, the way I dress is an extension of how I live my life, right? I've unapologetically, I love performing, doing acrobatics, fire performance. This, for me, is a very natural thing. But obviously, it's hard to maybe process that or imagine that if you're not in that place. You haven't really expressed yourself or given yourself permission to do so. And that's okay. It's a part of your own. Again, it's like, I think a lot of people, and I get it. Like, when I was 12 years old, 12, 13, 14, I struggled with a similar feeling where I didn't feel comfortable expressing myself. You know, society, it programs us, want us to make ourselves feel small, you know, be inauthentic. It's like encouraging us to be this kind of weird one-dimensional broken model. So that sucks that you guys feel so strongly, or the couple of you that have commented, you feel so strongly about literally just simply a person expressing themselves with an article of clothing. Like, I love this hat. And if you look at it in person, deep, rich, dark red, it's got a beautiful contrast. I love it, you know, and I feel like it's an extension of myself. And if you guys, you know, if the few of you are like so triggered by it, sit with that brother. You know, that's saying a lot about where you're at, and hopefully you can surface that and find some clarity of why you're suppressing yourself so actively. You know, why you're normalizing the means of trying to, yeah. Because I don't know, man, I've been there. When I was like 11, 12 years old, I like struggled to really even just wear, you know, dress how I wanted to dress, you know, just be unapologetic. And I think that's, it's a unfortunate reality with society. Welcome to this live stream, friends. Don't like the whole spiritualism thing. Can't trust it. That's, seems like, I mean, you're free to do whatever you want, dog, but, I don't think, like, if I would just make this very brief, I've never really been a person that's tried to engage in spirituality. Like, it's not a thing, spirituality is not a thing you do. Like, you know, if you meet people that are trying to walk and talk and act like there's some sort of spiritual entity or spiritually enlightened, they're probably not very connected to a genuine dimension of spirit. Maybe they are, I don't know. Can't say for everybody. But I'm telling you is that, personally, I've never been the kind of guy that's been like, okay, let's just, I don't know, engage or embody some sort of trend to feel spiritual. No, it's literally, I've just lived a life that's been very like unapologetic, very healthy, very tenacious, very integrated, very passionate, and very devoted. And over time, I literally just found myself aligned with metaphysical anomalies in my life that have made me just blessed and feel so happy to be alive that I just naturally find myself pull those threads. You know, I'm very rooted in the 3D world. I love being a human. I love connecting with humanity, of what my humanity is. You know, just being an imperfect human being. But I'm telling you, is like, if you don't find yourself connect with spirit, obviously, that's okay. You're on the, you gotta figure out one day. Maybe you don't. I don't know, depending on what your quest is. But I'm saying is, these are not things I've personally ever found myself like try to force. You can't force feeling like a deeper love and gratitude and connection to, you know, this human experience. I mean, let's be real here. If we're really getting to the center of it, this human experience is beautiful. Like, it's magnificent. It's actually like, it's sad that a lot of us are so lost and trapped and desensitized that we don't really have the ability or the capacity to really look objectively at how beautiful this reality is. And I think in the simplest right, that's what literally spirituality is. It's literally being able to see through the programming and literally being able to see what others may not see, and literally just getting to a sense where you can see in this world with clarity. You can penetrate through the programming. That's basically the essence of being a spiritual person is. And if you don't have clarity, if you lack clarity, if you live in a delusion or an illusion, or you're fragmented in the way you see, you act, and you feel, that's something that I invite you to, you know, understand, right? Like, if you're living a life that you're miserable and you don't see with clarity, you're not taking action in your life, you don't feel like unapologetic and you're able to actually like live your most abundant life, that's a deeper issue that, you know, spiritual or not, you know, choose whatever belief system you want, brother. But yeah, I think you deserve to be free, to see things with clarity, to be a man of action, to be a person of action, you know? But that's your prerogative, right? That's all up to you. I mean, let's be real here, though. A lot of people, I'm not going to say for you, Spooky, but a lot of people, I feel like they're addicted. They're addicted to the material. They're addicted to the unconscious. They're addicted to being fragmented, to being miserable, to being, to harrowing, horrendous, one-dimensional, dualistic parts of the human experience. Like, they don't desire to be happy. They don't desire to actually see the world with clarity. They're so addicted to this idea, and that's basically the programming. They're addicted to the idea of basically being miserable. Yeah. I feel like it's a masterclass in speaking at length and saying nothing. Well, thank you for sharing, dog. It's a Darvo manipulative tactics with a cute aesthetic. Well, if you can't, Spooky, if you're basically emulating this further. I don't know. I'm not gonna paint the picture of who you are through the weird text you've been sending. But if you can't discern with clarity, if someone is manipulating you, like if you can't actually successfully have the self-awareness, like, oh, this person actually has good intentions in this world, like, okay, sure, there's some people that maybe spiritually they're disintegral. But of course, there are people that actually do have good intentions, people that actually are genuinely connected to something. You just gotta humble yourself, brother. And if you don't trust your intuitive ability to discern if someone is a manipulator or is malicious or has ill intent, that's a you problem. That stems far from your ability to, dogmatize or define whatever spirituality is. You're confirming exactly what I'm expressing is you don't see the world with clarity. If you're saying that, but every spiritual person is a manipulative, blah, blah, blah. Brother, spirituality or not, some people are malicious. Some people are manipulative as fuck. Like, welcome to the world. Welcome to the 3D reality. But this is up for you to be a man of discernment, for you to actually be able to successfully see through the illusions. That's the whole point. If you can't see through illusions, then, I don't know, you're gonna see darkness everywhere. And you're going to be contributing to that darkness. Missed that key shift by a mile. Spiritually probably pseudo-deep for some, rarely people ever truly dig. It's, the hem. It's a weird paradox, like, don't get me wrong. I mean, I agree so wholeheartedly. Like, trust, I'm the kind of guy that I don't try to pretend or, grasp at dimensions of things that I don't necessarily feel or understand. Like, I think there's a lot of, like, weird spiritual ego. There's a lot of false prophets, so to speak, people that are, yes, like, they're a model of what they try to define as spirituality, and they're like embodying this and wearing this like some sort of costume. And it's almost what I'm simply saying is I think spirituality, in my experience, like an authentic spiritual experience, is often very paradoxical. The people you think, this person seems so spiritual aligned, or their person is trying to, lead like they are, I don't know, attain some sort of spiritual domain. Often these people, not in all cases, obviously people are, multidimensional, but a lot of these things are paradoxes. People that are truly maybe achieve some sort of dimension of some sort of spiritual integration may not look like what you think they do. It's like looks can be deceiving. It's basically trying to really just emulate, don't judge a book by its cover. Or it's like a lot of people, you might think, wow, this person seems so happy, so spiritually attuned and connected. And on the deeper level, maybe they're just like really lost. Like they're lost more than ever. And they've lost themselves down a rabbit hole of spiritual ego and, power abuse and narcissism and all these weird things. But all I'm simply saying is, be open-minded. Think freely. Think critically. Allow yourself to sharpen the ability to discern, to think. Like that, I think, is the most important element if you're going to try to actually achieve or define anything spiritual. You got to see the world with clarity. If you don't see with clarity, if you can't discern one person from another, or this truth or this dimension or whatever from another, then you're lost in illusion. You're going to be lost no matter what you look at, right? Anyway, take that with a grain of salt, you know? Ashe movement is nice. Thank you, brother. Not calling you Jim Jones. So I'm saying, I don't even know what Jim Jones is, bruv. I don't know, like, I appreciate your perspective, Spooky. I appreciate you sharing. And one thing, you do realize that this is a YouTube stream. I'm here to create a community that is, you know, a meditative safe space to share music, talk about music, you know, be as musicians or creatives to share and support each other, to lift each other up. You know, I think a lot of people misconcept what the internet is, you know, what this YouTube is. They forget what the real world is. They're lost touch with reality, where they're trying to almost like apply multi-dimensional experiences to one-dimensional models. You know, it's almost like, I think a lot of these deeper conversations, like if you or I, Spooky, like if we're, you know, you were in the same room as me, we were like two dudes met on the street, met on a beach or an open mic, right? And we're like, all right, let's have a discussion. Let's have an authentic conversation about beliefs because we just desired to, right? That's a profoundly different experience than this sort of interaction, right? It's like, I think, not to say, you know, not to discredit your desire to communicate your truth, but for real, brother, like, when is the time and place? Like, how misconcepted, maybe not you, but some people, you know, I'm a streamer. I've been a streamer for like 4 months or whatever. And I see a lot of people flowing through who basically on the simplest right, they're so disconnected for what it means to be in touch with the human experience. They've forgotten. And this is not their fault. This is the programming, right? Like, it's like they're so addicted to social media, they're so addicted to their phones that they've forgotten the actual context, the purpose and the role of an actual real human world experience, an actual real world experience, right? You know, they've forgotten the nuances, the importance, and the role that that holds. And when you understand that, like when you understand, wow, like the real world is a very difficult to a place, an irreplaceable interaction that is far deeper. Like, you know, when we're interacting, right, the majority of the time in the real world, you realize that people are actually interacting and communicating with their bodies, with micro expressions, with tonality, right? Like these dimensions of someone trying to be like, this, that, the other thing, so much is lost. Like so much is lost in our interaction. So, you know, I like to set the tone where I'm here to, you know, answer questions, talk about music, you know, plant some seeds if people want to learn about music or guitar. And, you know, I like to share my journey as a YouTuber, things that have helped me, things that have inspired me. But I think too many people, unfortunately, misconcept the core role of what a YouTube stream is. And I think that's the fundamental fallacy that sits, is if you're here to try to argue some like spiritual imperative or some existential philosophical imperative, you're probably in the wrong place. Like if you're really trying to argue, you know, your point and do it justice. If you hear what I'm saying though. Yeah. Drink the Kool-Aid. These words would reach a few, but the ones who hear are the true legendary. That's what I'm here for, dog. I'm here to play music. Like, you do realize, like, you guys do realize, like, once this stream portal hits a larger capacity, moderators will be like, you know, they'll be censoring these unhinged, sort of whack, bonkers things. I'll be interacting as much as I humanly can, right? I'll be playing music for you guys, trying to create this community. But it's like a lot of you don't realize that, yeah, it's like this is, I'm doing this as a convenience to try to, like, you know, community build, to try to interact and make people feel like there's a humanized experience. Like for people that are trying to project or, you know, have these kind of discussions, you know, I don't have to do anything quintessentially, but I choose to. We're fortunate as that. Thanks, bro. I'm trying, dog. Again, it's a simple thing, right? What I'm trying to basically convey is those of you that resonate with what I'm trying to do here will be a part of the way this community is going to grow. You know, I have a very clear intention, whether you're conscious of it or not, with what this community is. And as I grow, as I become a larger YouTuber, which I desire to, because I want to be a full-time YouTuber, this community is going to resonate with a certain type of people. Those that don't fit in that realm, they're going to be, you know, they're just going to disappear or not going to align with this intention. That's okay. Go find your community. Like, if people that don't align with this type of content or expression, or, you know, aren't musicians or don't understand artistry, that's fine. Like, that's okay. Go find your community, you know? There's no one holding a gun to your head. Oof, that attack feels kind of strong. Oof, that's, yeah, kind of fun. That's good. Yeah. Is this hat for real? It's real, brother, yeah. It's dark red. It's like if you can't really see it, unfortunately, that's something I didn't anticipate. Maybe if I turn on, you can kind of see it, but yeah, it's like, it's a deep, rich, dark garnet. It's like dark garnet, dark auburn. It's a beautiful color, actually, but unfortunately, this camera doesn't pick up on the fine color hues. It looks very beautiful, though. But again, it looks like almost just like a dark brown, maybe on this camera, but yeah, c'est la vie. Why, thank you. I love this hat, too. I know, I don't know, bro, it's kind of hilarious. Like, I'm a performance artist. I work in film, right? I do casting calls where I accept film gigs at my own leisure. But I've actually made it very clear, you know, if you're familiar with this channel, I desire to be a full-time YouTuber, and I know I'm going to succeed. You know, it's just a matter of time. You know, and probably in about 3-4 weeks, that's when I'll hit the mark where I'll start to be monetized, and I'll start receiving income. This will be my job. But even to that day, I love working in film. I love doing acting. I love doing stunts, and I have a lot of love for that community. So my job is not, no, I don't have a 9-to-5 job. I haven't in a while. I work in the film industry, and it's probably the best job you can have, but second to being a YouTuber. And for me, I'm really extraordinarily excited to really just embrace this dimension of being a YouTuber, because I really love the YouTube community. Yeah. I'm gonna take a moment here and really focus, because I'm playing in, again, a weird alternate tuning, and I want to, like, learn to sort of calibrate my scale sequence here. Oof, that sounds like shit. Yeah, I hope you guys are having yourself, you know, beautiful day so far. Allowing yourself to just, like, slow down, sit with stillness, you know, go into nature if it's a nice day. Just connect with yourself on a different level, you know. How long have you been in the YouTube business? I've been a YouTuber for technically just about 8 months. I've been growing this channel from 0 to right now for 8 months. I mean, I've been, like, informally studying YouTube for, like, about a couple years now. I've just been, like, you know, thinking about my vision of how I desire to do this channel. But I've been, channel from 0 to 100, or 0 to, well, 1.2K subscribers. I've grown in about 8 months, and I've been streaming for about 4.5 of those months. So that's really when I've been growing this channel. You know, I hit about 100 subscribers, and then I started streaming and just, like, boosted myself from 100 to about 900 in a few weeks, and then I've just been grinding it out. Yeah. I don't know. I'm confident. I'm confident in my ability because, yeah. Assassin's Creed recording session. This guy gets it. This guy gets it. It's funny, I've actually, a lot of this style of tuning and the way I play this is 1000% inspired by a lot of the, I think it's Assassin's Creed 3, the one with Ezio. I mean, I created this tuning just at random, but a lot of the way, like, the music from Assassin's Creed is very, like, loosely inspired by this. Or loosely inspires this. Because it's in the same tuning, basically. It's the same, like, some of the same keys. Did I stumble across that? Just Creed. Nah, Assassin's Creed, yeah, bro. I love that music. I stay organic, only dabble. Yeah, I have a deep hatred for everything AI. I mean, people can do whatever they want, and it's not even about the product or the explorative nature. No, no, no. I think AI is like, it's destroying your brain. There's a very deeply broken part of the, it basically is fragmenting and destroying the natural motivation and creative drive. I don't know. It's a world of thought. People can do whatever they want. I think there's applications for AI, sure, but it's not a rabbit hole I even want to go down. But, when there's things like music, creating apps, I mean, I'm grateful that I have the ability to succeed as a performance artist, in a world, even if AI were to take over and everyone would be abusing and creating all these weird things, I would still be fine. I would still succeed. But I think a lot of people don't fundamentally understand how much they're robbing themselves of some very fundamental parts of the human experience when they confide or engage in AI so heavily. And it's sad. It's not an industry I think people should promote or, be a part of. But hey, welcome to 2026, baby. Like, goddamn. People got free will and people will do stupid shit. And AI is one of them. Yeah. I enjoy your channel. Thank you, miss. Yeah. You'll get big if you call out Asmongold. I don't think I need to call out anyone, dog. I've been a guitar player for 16 years, brother. Yeah, thank you for your weird backhanded interest. Yeah. A desert flute, word. Thank you, Daniel. Yeah, bro, I mean, I feel like YouTube is a unique community that I think requires like a really clear vision and also an awareness of, strategy of how you can work with the unique algorithm that is YouTube. It has a truly high learning curve. Like YouTube, part of what I love about it is it's truly probably the most difficult content creation platform or search engine platform to succeed. Like it really is, like it has a high learning curve. It's infamous. Most people will not succeed. They'll create a YouTube channel, will try, fail. They'll try, fail. Like it's not even like I don't know. It's just inevitable. It's a default thing. Is most people will fail at YouTube. Those that succeed are people that actually are able to like really think freely, openly. Maybe study YouTube. Really have something unique that they really desire to bring to this world that they would just do YouTube or not. And they're just maybe they have the foresight to be able to bridge these worlds. I don't know. All you're missing is the desert flute. Sure. I don't know what a desert flute is, but you're probably right, bro. That being said, like, I said this once or twice because, I just like to keep it real and kind of just share intuitively what flows through. What's interesting about YouTube is I'm not too concerned, right? Whether I, you know, grow a large community or I'm sitting in this like moderate field, it really is like, I think YouTube is about the tone that you set as a creator, the boundaries, if you will, the boundaries of what you're just like, okay, this is my intention, this is what I desire to create, this is what I'm inviting, this is what I'm absorbing. This is actually obviously a mirror of everything in the real world, right? Boundaries, the way you set the tone for relationships, for business partnerships or friendships and communities, the exact same thing applies to the real world. And it's the same thing in YouTube, right? So, I'm not too concerned that the people that are resonant with my intention, with my goal, with my vision, are the people that are going to help grow this community. And, the people that don't align with that, people that are, maybe very abrasive or projective or wherever they find themselves, they'll find other communities to latch onto. The natural uh, the natural process will filter them or bring them to resonate with other things. So, did you ever change? Eldabo. Appreciate you, Road Wellsworth. Yeah, welcome to this channel, dog. Like, that's the thing, and two, I don't truthfully care, like, if people, desire to be like, hey, like, this is not for me, or they're like, like, I'm not like seeking people to just be part of this channel for being part of this channel. That's not how I've operated this at all. Honestly, couldn't care less if people do or don't, if it's not resonant with them. I want people to find the content and the portals that they really need in their lives. And if that's this channel, fuck yeah. Like, I feel like, I feel very confident in my vision, but yeah. Just people, they can do what they want. Anyways, going through these comments of them. My girl's been gone 5 days and won't take my calls. Okay. I like the direction some of these conversations like I like your guys' free thinking sort of dimension of it. Well, all I can say to the one who both girls been gone for 5 days, I mean, dog, that's the universe redirecting you. Yeah, I think you don't realize that people are allowed to do whatever they want, right? In the actual healthy dating construct, yeah, people are not, you're not entitled to anyone's energy, right? If a person's not resonating with you and aligning with you on a sort of romantic level, then don't try to force that kind of thing, yeah? Clearly the universe is redirecting you in a very active way. Opinions on dating apps. Bro. I mean, this is a music channel, bro. I don't want to focus on everything, but yeah, dating apps are clearly, I think I've talked about this if you've been here once or twice. I really feel dating apps are very problematic, like very profoundly problematic. And, people can choose to use them. They're a tool, just like anything. It's just like social media. You can use a dating app. Maybe you'll have some success, maybe you won't, but there is, what is it? There's a psychologist that was on this YouTube, it's like a podcast type thing, and he was doing like an interview, and basically this YouTuber, he was like an expert in family therapy, and he's like a relationship coach that specializes on attachment theory. And basically, he expressed very overtly that dating apps are for people with personality disorders that have no community bonds or connection, and they're desperate and alone, and they're seeking other people unconsciously. Like, that's the mass majority of what dating apps are. It's people that don't have social intelligence to build healthy communities. They have personality disorders, and they're desperate and alone, and they're unconsciously trying to basically validate themselves. They're not actually trying to date people. They're not actually trying to find people to date. Maybe you'll find the outliers. Maybe you'll connect with a person or two, but I don't know. That, I think, was an interesting thought. And in the simplest right, like, without trying to talk all day long about why dating apps are XYZ, you need to meet people in the real world. Like, this is the same thing I was emulating with, people that are going to troll or project or, speak some sort of weird, outlandish, unhinged opinions on the internet. The real world is where you will experience the depths of the human experience. The real world is important. It's extremely important not to basically misconcept these substitutions of reality, these one-dimensional social media portals with the actual real world. So many people, I think they're suffering, they're struggling, they're confused, they're lost, they're feeling like really fragmented and lost because they've fundamentally forgotten the importance and the role of the real world. Whether you're just meeting human beings, exchanging micro expressions, and the simplest way, I've met all of my romantic partners, like over the last few years, strictly in the real world, on dance floors, on beaches, open mics, right, in the real world, mainly on dance floors, like ecstatic dances, raves, and etc. But that's the reality is, I don't know, for me it's overwhelmingly obvious. Like if I could offer any advice to the younger generation, or people like, wow, my dating life is XYZ or it's trash, or for one, your communication skills are probably garbage. Like it's a sad reality that a lot of people, for whatever reason, they really struggle to communicate effectively and with emotional intelligence and self-awareness. But again, the simplest right is too many people are addicted and fixated on the idea of what a dating app is, or they're just, they think the dating app is even remotely synonymous with the actual experience of going and meeting people in the real world to actually create long-lasting, aligned, healthy partnerships, romantic connections, or so to be. It's like, it's a weird parallel that a lot of people, they don't know how to communicate. They're really dog shit at dating, like as a whole. They don't understand the art of dating or the process of dating. And then they're also making this weird misconception that dating apps are somehow related to actually dating, where no, you need to go into the real world. You need to meet people organically, like without a shadow of a doubt. Dating apps, they can play a tiny role if you have self-awareness, you have emotional intelligence, maybe you can discern and find a couple partners for whatever reason, maybe, who knows. But I've had some success on dating apps in the past. I personally despise dating apps for many reasons. Like I think, again, it's almost clear as day for me that the real world is an impossible thing to replace. And so many people, they just, I don't know, they misconcept that. Yeah, but there's lots of things we said about that. But I think, just simply, long story short, real world, it's a beautiful place. It is, everything you seek is on the other side of engaging in the real world, of actually sitting with true presence and discomfort that may arise from not being present. And yeah, you will not find that outside of the real world, no matter what, as much as you try. YouTube is about talking to yourself. YouTube is not about talking to yourself. Yeah. YouTube is whatever you make it to be. And honestly, I try to hold space for this community, to build a community. Sometimes it is just me monologuing. Sometimes it's me playing music. I try to make this a unique experience where I'm not just monologuing, but also, who knows, I can do whatever I desire to do. If I want to hold space and share some thoughts that I think are really, vital, I'll do so. But of course, I want to hold space for you guys as well, and, make this a deeper experience. Man, as much as I love this tuning, I feel like unconsciously I'm like looking, I'm like, this tuning is so like, it's so like harrowing and so like somber. It's almost like maybe this is why some people are just like feeling, they're like, experiencing a lot of negative energy projecting, or like surfacing, that's the word. That's healthy perspective in my eyes. Sorry to mean to detract. It's all good, dog. It's all good. I I welcome, healthy dialogue, like the things that make people think. Whether I'm able to always hold space for that, it's like, I don't know. But I think, truthfully, again, I'd say don't apologize. Let yourself, like, these are important things to talk about. Like, I really feel that's part of why, if I feel like a lot of people have a lot of misconceptions relating to something so pivotal and so fundamental as literally just communicating and communicating and interacting with the opposite sex. So, and communicating and understanding and honoring feminine energy. We had Women's Day yesterday, and I don't know, it's interesting moment where it's like a lot of women are celebrating and talking about what it means to be a woman and celebrating feminine energy. There's a lot of women that are also just expressing how almost like they're just openly expressing a lot of the atrocities or a lot of the fragmented ways that they've been received and in their feminine energy. And then it's just like it's like really, it's like a lot of people, for whatever reason, they've lost some fundamental truths relating to just embodying healthy masculine energy and healthy feminine energy. And yeah, it's like it's a weird world we live in, but I think these are healthy discussions that need to be had, especially on a platform. There's a bunch of people that are just like chiming in that maybe do have a lot of misconceptions or a lot of weird perspectives about you know things like as simple as just going and experiencing the real world, going and meeting people face to face, experiencing human beings and forgetting how vital that is within all avenues. Yeah. Yeah. That's dope. I mean, some people get it. Like, when you get it, you'll never not get it. Like, when you sit there and be like, wow, I couldn't have imagined how I would align with such a beautiful human being with such a beautiful soul, right? And just like you meet these partners and you see this happen over and over again. You're like, wow, that almost feels impossible that I was in this place and this woman was here, and then you somehow aligned in such a beautiful, natural way. Like, in the simplest way, without going on another tangent, it's like you realize that the dating apps, right, and a person on a social media app, that's not an organic way for humans to interact. That's not an organic way for people to, find a genuine dimension of compatibility. It's just not. There's so many different ways of how we as human beings experience each other. And if you're robbing this component of the real world, you're really not going to align with what you desire to align with. And that goes way beyond just talking about dating. That's basically synonymous with everything. I like to think YouTube connects people, even when you're talking to yourself. Connect with your audience. Yeah. Honestly, I'm a new, like, that's the thing is I'm new to this scene, like really new. I've been doing streaming for, again, like maybe 4.5, 5 months, and I've been a YouTuber for about 8 months tops. Like, that's 0 to now, 8 months. So I like to be open-minded. I like to be open-hearted. I like to be humble, being like, you know what? I'm still new to this. I'm trying to unpackage, what this means to be a YouTuber, what is honoring my boundaries, what is honoring my vision and my intention. But also, yeah, just trying to be continuously open and be like, you know what? I want to allow myself to create, the most palatable and beautiful experience with also, again, honoring what my intention is. I think I'm doing a pretty good job. It's working. This last little while, I feel like I really trust my process. So where you at? Feels like you're far away. I mean, I'm in Canada, so I don't know. Not sure where you're at, my dog. I like to think, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Type shit. history. Remember to stay hydrated, friends. Stop hitting the guitar and play. I feel like you, my guy, are not my target audience. So thank you for the unsolicited advice, my friend. Thank you. But I'm gonna give you a moment to kind of sit there and think about, why you're popping on, offering people unsolicited advice. Yo, the hat looks funny. Thanks, brother. Wear that classy one with the wide. What made you wear that at least wear a classy one with the wide shape? What made you wear that at least wear a classy one with the wide shape? I'm so confused what that means. I guess, what's your definition of classy hat? Because I'll be honest, bruv. I mean, we all have different tastes, but if I were to wear a classy hat, that would bore me to tears. I would feel like, yeah, it's like, why even wear a hat if you're trying to look like, if you're trying to be someone you're not, if you're not trying to express yourself, why even wear a hat at all? Each to their own, I suppose. Missed that skill there beautifully. Yes. What is good? What's good? I don't know. I mean, I'm not going for Willy Wonka, but I'll take it. It's high praise. Who's to say Willy Wonka's tight? Yeah. Thank you. Beautiful. And thank you for sharing your guys' perspective. But I mean, naturally, I'm here. I'm trying to focus on navigating some complex alternate tunings. But hey, bruv, c'est la vie. We all have free opinion. That's not working, man. Yeah, it's like, I don't know, bro. I'm inclined to believe everyone has their opinions. Like, so many people are like, it's not working. So you can't make it work. Like, I mean, I know you, Beast. You've been here for a regular, and I appreciate you, dog. And you express you're trying to be a musician. You're trying to juggle, medical school and etc. Bruv, I've been a musician for 16, coming up 17 years. I love to express myself. Music is my life. Performance art, expression. Maybe just because you're not comfortable expressing yourself fully and unapologetically, like, why wear this coat? Like, why wear this shirt? Why not just wear an Adidas black and white shirt and wear a freaking, I don't know, Yankees baseball cap and just sit there and suppress my truth? And why not just do it? Why not cigarettes and go and work in a construction job and be miserable all day long? Like, why? You could do that. Anyone could do that, right? But you can also do whatever you want. Like, welcome to the 3D. But thank you for sharing, what you're feeling, brother. It's all good. If I meant a Panama hat or a classic cowboy hat or beanie, like, the hats to suit your outfit. Interesting. Well, I wear beanies, brother. But I'll be honest, the cowboy hats or whatever you're talking about, that sounds like dog shit. Like, not to dump on your style, but this hat feels actually like this suits what I wear. It suits my energy. If I were to wear a cowboy hat, bro, like, I would I don't know, I'm probably I'm probably not it. I'm probably going through some crazy shit. If I decided to just wear a cowboy hat, like, bro. No offense, hey, if you live in Texas and you love country music and you're rocking a cowboy hat, I think that's cool. Like, honestly, I respect anyone that wants to rock anything in their style, but not for me, dog. But thanks for sharing. Thanks for sharing your perspective. Almost every hat has an actual function that goes beyond self-expression. Nothing stands for something, express something meaningful. Wow, that is so weird, bro. Every hat has a function. Bro, this is a hat. This is a hat that literally has a function. That's the most, wow. I'm learning a lot these last couple days. You know, a lot about people that, for whatever reason, you know, and again, this is a core thing, so I think this is important to express. A lot of people seem to have a very weird, suppressed perspective with expressing themselves. I'm not, this is not news to me. I'm an artist, right? I go out into random places, I play music, I share my truth. I do this all the time. So for me, this is, I'm not surprised that people have a really weird relationship with expressing themselves. A lot of people, you know, people like to be another cog in the machine. They like to, you know, censor themselves. They like to filter themselves. They like to suppress their truth. They like to suppress the way they express themselves. I think that's the normality. I've accepted that. But I've noticed a couple things that, you know, the last couple days, a lot of people have a really weird obsession with how they dress. Like, they seem to really just suppress themselves. They want to be as normal as possible. They want to be as, in my mind, boring as possible. And that's okay. Like, again, I've never desired to be like your one-dimensional boring guy. For me, that's just not for me, you know? I respect if people want to wear boring ass, you know, logo shit, and that's cool, bro. But the other part of it is, yeah, it seems like other people are just, I don't know, people just kind of are fixated on hats. Like, it seems like everybody has this weird fixation on, you know, people trying to wear this or that, like, you know, and share their opinions about it. Just like Gerard is here, Mr. Untethered. I mean, I don't know. I think you're entitled to your perspective, brother, but what you just said makes zero sense. Like, you're telling me that every hat you see people wear, like, yeah, they're wearing some sort of, like, snapback and sideways or backwards or whatever. You tell me that is, like, they're wearing it for function? No, brother. They're wearing it because they choose to. Because it's a style preference. You know, maybe, sure, sometimes it's getting shared around, but that's, I don't know. I think you've lost the point entirely, my friend. But it's okay. Like, again, you realize here, right? Like, friends, ladies and gentlemen, so formal. You realize this is a social experiment, right? Like, whether you're conscious or not, you're choosing to participate in this social experiment. We're all here doing this together, right? Welcome to YouTube, 2026. This is a social experiment. You know, I'm not trying to sit here and be like, I'm not judging the nature of, like, your opinions and your perspectives, but, you know, what people choose to fixate on, what people choose to, you know, formulate their beliefs on, that's just sharing what you're feeling. Again, this is, in me, a lot of, you know, when I log off YouTube and I go into my regular life and live my everyday life, I like to sort of, like, look at these things in an open-minded way and be like, interesting. Like, wow, this is really interesting. I like to be curious and think, like, what am I learning from a lot of, like, what the collective is going through, a lot of the collective beliefs, you know? And again, that's kind of what I just expressed. A lot of people, it's confirming my belief. A lot of people do not know how to separate reality from social media. That's a belief that I'm seeing reoccurring. A lot of people are revealing their hands so actively. They have such an almost embarrassing relationship with the real world. And that's okay. It's unfortunate. We live in a very unique time where a lot of people are deeply programmed. They're very disconnected from the real world, and they treat the internet like it's the real world. That's the first weird thing that I'm learning. And the second thing is that, yeah, a lot of people are, unfortunately, by default, suppressing themselves. They're suppressing their expression. They're expressing their ability to express, be it with what they're wearing, you know, if they're going to play a guitar. They want to be as normal as possible. They want to fit in this weird little box. And strangely enough, that's not what the world needs. Hell, if there's anything history has taught us, if there's anything the philosophers like Terence McKenna speak to us, we need to be individuals. We need to return to the power of individualism. That's literally what is important as a society. That is what is going to help us move forward as a society. You know, a lot of these weird, suppressed domains of how we are and who we are, that is actually killing society. That is responsible for so much really negative, fragmenting things on a larger scale. So again, learning two things right here today with a lot of people's opinions that they're, you know, sharing in a sort of unsolicited fashion. People probably need to just put down their phones. They need to go have some conversations in the real world. They need to go, into wherever the archives and the realms of the real world. They need to experience humanity in its wholeness. This is what I'm seeing is a lot of people have this like embarrassingly disconnected perspective with misunderstanding the role of what a phone is, of what social media is, and what the real world is. That's an inevitable and variable fact I'm seeing. And again, the secondary sad part is a lot of people seem to be like triggered by genuine expression. If I were to start singing 3 Days Grace or pouring my heart out, a lot of people would be triggered left, right, and center. They'd be like, wow. Like some people are like, wow, this is so beautiful. But a lot of people, they're so suppressed in their ability to express themselves. And it's I don't know, it's unfortunate because this is not what society needs. Society literally really needs a revival of the individual. They need people to be authentic with who they are, express their truth. We don't need people to sit there and suppress and filter themselves and try to box themselves and suppress their truth. Why do you think society is in such a horrendous place? It's literally because of that. People are suppressing themselves. They're pushing themselves, making themselves feel small. And guess what? That's manifesting all these atrocious compulsive behaviors. People don't feel free to express themselves. They don't feel safe to express themselves. And that is why they're becoming these atrocities. Like, you realize that, right? You realize there's a deeply woven thing going on here. Anyways, thank you for listening to my TED Talk. Back to the regular programming. It's cool, bro. Like, I know, Beast, you've been here for a while, brother. And I know for a fact you're well-founded. Like, I know for a fact you're a free thinker, you're a guitarist. Like, you're a dope dude, my friend. Yeah. J.O.Ritz. I think I'm gonna send you on your way, J.O.Ritz. You don't seem to actually desire to contribute to this channel or be a part of this channel. You're not my target audience. That's okay, brother. You're probably not a musician. You probably don't understand the core intention of the channel. So I'm going to remove your ability to comment on this channel, J.O.Ritz. But thank you for sharing. Thank you for trying to make sense of this perspective. And unfortunately, you just perfectly confirmed exactly what I was saying. I was expressing all that little, my TED Talk spiel, whatever. That was me literally doing exactly what I think is important. I was expressing my individual truth. The fact that doesn't make sense, that you're trying to project further, it shows that you're not ready to hear this, and that's okay, friend. Like, I'm not going to judge you about this. But you've also lost your rights to comment on this channel. Peace. But thank you for trying. Thank you for trying to make sense of it, brother, We gotta set boundaries. We gotta filter the people that don't really understand what's because this is the weird thing. Like, without getting, wasting too much time on people, people get caught in loops. Like, let's be real here. People are locked. Like, this is the reason why I'm so tenacious about these things. I'm repeating over and over again, hey guys, we're locked in patterns. Like, you gotta think freely. You maybe wanna put down your phone. So I'm saying these things with a very dead, passionate level of tenacity. Why? Because you guys, you realize you're addicted to these things, right? This is not like a funny, happy-go-lucky, like, we all have free. No. Like, you're addicted to these patterns. You're addicted to your beliefs that you're telling yourself, no, but this guy. You're addicted to, like, these weird, suppressed, one-dimensional things. These things, like, you're very heavily addicted to these things. You're dopaminergically addicted to pushing away the truth, to, scrolling through social media, to perpetuating your misery, right? It's painful to look at the truth. So, if I'm going to express my truth, like, hey guys, like, you're probably suppressing yourself. You're probably, there's things that I think are important that I just want to share with my community. And you're sitting there triggered, like, nah, bro, like, what's going on? It's like, well, you're kind of, again, you're just, you're revealing your stance even further. You're articulating this point even further. But yeah, we could talk about these things all day long. But again, I think it's important is I'm going to express my truth. I'm going to share these thoughts because I think it's important. You know, if you're unconsciously addicted, you're living in an unconscious stupor, scrolling through this, that, the other thing, and you're unconsciously miserable, you're probably not going to find your way out of this maze, out of this crazy rabbit hole. You're probably, you know, and this is why I like to, again, be very penetrative. I like to be very clear and tenacious. Is like, I believe that is the goal. That is the goal. That is the answer. You need to be tenacious. You need to radically challenge the models and penetrate the programming. That is how you're going to see through it. You're not going to see through it by just being like, let's just, I don't know, continue the programming and, you know, suppress ourselves and believe what we see. Like, you know, people like that, that's the reason why this world's in such a fucked up place. People are just controlled by fear. I have to say, I have to apologize. I mean, I don't have to apologize, but I feel like, again, this music is like so harrowing. It feels like, I mean, I love this tuning, but it's dropped B tuning. It seems like I'm almost like, it's like this dramatic, like harrowing scene. Like, oh, it's so dramatic. I might switch to an alternate tuning. You know, it's like a happier, lighter sort of energy. I think you can get rid of the beanie while wearing the hat. Sure, yeah. Well, actually, what I'm doing is designing. I'm designing like a really dope beanie that's like lighter. That's not necessarily a beanie. It's like a silk, very beautiful, like dark red. Like it's I don't even know how to describe it. But I'm basically gonna make this thing that will fit with the hat, so it'll fit perfectly. But I agree. I actually wear this hat without the beanie often. It's practical. Yeah. I love this. I love this sequence right here for whatever reason. Magic. Yeah. Here for the ball. Word. I'm here for that too. Legitimately. I swear it's like, I mean, in the real world, I was at a rave the other night. Really awesome show. It was like live violin, beautiful, beautiful sound. And I was literally just like unlocking such insane parallels with this. Stuff that really was like a more like a full body experience. But man, I'm just enamored with this prop. And part of it too is because I feel like on the dance floor, just like connecting with people, it's such a beautiful illusion. It's a perspective, you know, bender where people were walking around and then they'll like see this, and instantly it's like reflecting all the dance floor. It's reflecting all the people in the visual field, and it has such a beautiful ability. And also just as it's very like gentle. It's like a nuanced prop where like all the little movements, the micro expressions are experienced, which is pretty fun. Yeah. What's up? You look like a Heath Ledger and Bon Jovi mix. Nice. Nah, I get that all the time. I mean, thank you. I don't know. People say I look like a lot of people. I look like rappers, actors, musicians of sorts. I've gotten Bon Jovi quite a lot when I had like my long hair down. I'm actually gonna get a haircut soon, probably next week, and I'm gonna cut my hair to about there, probably about like maybe there. So I'll look a lot more like Bon Jovi. But yeah, that's those are the breaks. Gotta love genetics, my dog. After healing and it feels okay, I'll get inspired to a sky blue electric guitar. Word. Yo, that's tight. I mean, again, I want to, usually I like to carry myself with as much open-heartedness and I would say class. Like, I don't like to make people feel like I'm trying to almost come at them. But that being said, sometimes people need like a genuine level of honesty, of just like, a direct approach. But that being said, I appreciate you here, Beast. Like, I want you you feel, again, I've said this once or twice, you are a smart dude. Like, you seem like a pretty chill dude. Like, I don't want to, yeah, take away from, like, I feel like your opinion, your perspective. And again, I think a lot of this comes down to, like, this is the thing that I think is really interesting. The more I've talked about this, like, this is a hat, right? This is just a hat. I wear it on my head. What really changes here? I'm rocking this, maybe a little more sight, a little bit less thing. But for me, this feels good. Like, this is just a thing that makes me feel more expressive. I enjoy the color palette. You can't really see it in real life. But again, as an 11, 12 year old, like, when I was a musician, a young musician, right? I was like 2, 3 years in. I was like deathly afraid. Maybe not deathly afraid, but I was very, very apprehensive to express myself. I didn't want to grow my hair out long, and I didn't want to like wear, like punk rock, like band t-shirts, didn't want to wear like red jeans. Like, I just didn't want to stick out as a young kid. It was like, I was a guitarist. Like, I was a devoted guitarist. I loved guitar with my entire being. But for many years, I was like really apprehensive to express myself. And for most of my life, until I was about 19, 20, that's when I started to like make breakthroughs. I met friends that loved to express themselves, had really cool, like, just everything, like hats and freaking pins and all these things. And that's also when I became a member of the rave scene, right? Started going to raves, started dancing, meeting people, making tons of friends, just meeting amazing human beings. And yeah, it wasn't until like my early 20s that I actually finally gave myself permission to express myself. And this is after like 12 years, or more like, I guess, roughly like, yeah, about 10 years of being a musician, of being a devoted musician, of dedicating my life to music, to being a performance artist, like loving everything to do with it. It's like I had to really like step outside this imposter syndrome. So anyways, all I'm saying is it makes sense that a lot of people are like trying to, they're trying to filter themselves. They're trying to suppress their expression. They're trying to, just play it small, so to speak. And I'm not going to sit there and judge people about the way they desire to express themselves, the unique, phase of the journey, and that's okay. But I think it's important as a human being, like whether we're talking about wearing hats or dressing coats, whatever. That's just an extension of these things. I think on a deeper level, it's important to express your truth, whether it's in your words, whether it's in your music style. Like, this stuff it's life-changing stuff. Like, I really believe this. And most people, like, they'll agree or disagree, or maybe they'll agree on some level, but I'm telling you, like, as a dude, this is life-changing stuff. Once you express yourself, life becomes more vivid. It becomes more aligned. The contrast is like, it's higher. Everything is just more beautiful. Like, it's just, again, we're not all meant to be professional performance artists or musicians or whatever, but I'm just saying in general, people shouldn't feel the need to suppress themselves so heavily. It's a very weird parallel we live in society, and I don't know. But that's awesome, bro, about the guitar. I'm actually in 2 days, I'm ordering, or I ordered already, but I'm gonna arrive. My guitar is gonna arrive. I ordered an Ibanez Red Eclipse Burst. A beautiful guitar. It actually matches this hat, if you saw the real world color. And basically, yeah, so I'm getting a new Ibanez guitar in 2 days, literally Wednesday. I'm freaking elated. It's gonna be really cool. So I think that's dope that you're also getting yourself a super dope new guitar, because the time is now, brothers. It's time to dance now. It is time to dance. Like, I was literally dancing for like 4 hours yesterday, or not yesterday, 2 days ago when I went to the show. So man, like, yeah, dance is medicine. It's gonna take a lot to drag me away from there's nothing 100 men or could ever do. I'll bless this rain in Africa. Okay. Hey man, deep lyrics, deep lyrics. Whoa. Very coarse, very coarse. Made it here so I can hear some music. Nice, dog. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, peace and love, J.R. is like, it's kind of it's a weird parallel. Like, I thought about this when I was very new to YouTube, right? YouTube land, and I don't know. It's like there's not a lot of people like in these domains, like uh, not to just kind of be, what's the word, like delusional, but if a person were to like speak to me face to face, like they're like, hey bro, like let's have a conversation, or let's argue, or I don't know, let's share some opinions. A lot of these people, like Jaredits or whatever, people, maybe Jaredits didn't even seem like that, confused or lost of a dude, a little bit, but some people, they'll come in here and say unhinged shit, right? And it's kind of like, bro, like, do you even, like, you need to touch grass. You need to, like, realize what humans actually are. Like, if you were to, like, have this conversation face to face, this probably wouldn't go the same way that you think it is. I mean, maybe it's just you lack confidence, you lack, authority, you suck ass at communicating, probably. But honestly, like, these people, like, they don't realize how different these conversations would go in the real world. They're just so disconnected from the real world. They're just like, oh, wait a second. I'm a human being. He's a human being. Like, this is like, it's a very like different context. And they're like trying to, it's almost like we're trying to, these are people that are hiding behind the computer. And if we're going to use that context, and they don't realize like how different these interactions actually would be if they had the balls to actually, say their truth. And this is the weird thing. This is the weird thing is people should speak their truth. Like that's kind of this is the whole point of this comes full circle is the reason why people are sitting here trying to argue their truths over the internet. You know why that is? It's because they don't have the balls to do it in the real world. They don't have the courage, the bravery, the tenacity to actually just speak their truth in their everyday lives. Like, if they're actually like, man, there's atrocities in the world and they're not actually taking action on that. They're not actually expressing their truth. And then now they default to being, okay, well, I'm going to pop here on the internet and blah, 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 and try to argue with some people on the internet. It's like, again, that's not everybody. But I have this sneaky feeling that, for those of you that are actually taking action in their life, that are actually communicating their truth to the people in their life, they're actually standing behind the movements and the things they really stand behind. They're speaking their authentic truth. These are not people that are going to sit there and argue it all day long on some sort of, Facebook forum or on a YouTube stream. Like, these are not the people that are doing that. So I have this sneaky feeling that people that are, trying to argue some sort of, I don't know, lost cause or one-dimensional opinion, these are not people who are very apt to communicate their truth. This is what they need, is they need to go into the real world and freaking speak their truth. You got to communicate to the people around you, to the injustices you see. You got to take action in the real world, not on the internet. Anyways, thank you for listening to my TED Talk. TED Talk number 2. Yeah. I think I lost a K. Should mess my sleep cycle, blah, 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 blah. I'm like way behind in the comments, but this is C'est la vie. This is our... So Cookie needs music. I got you, miss. Wait, it's my brother's-in-law's. He's an asshat. Wow. Joss Oates is my brother-in-law. Wild. What would Oates do to suggest instead? Blah, blah, blah. Should I mess with my sleep routine watching your stream to get to 140? I think not, bro. I mean, this, if you've been in my streams for a while now, no pressure, zero expectations. Like, you got to sleep, honor your body. Like, there's nothing more comprehensive to this stream, this mission, than just honoring your body. Like, I sleep with that all day long. So I mean, if your sleep schedule is already bonkers and you're not gonna be sleeping, you know it because you've been drinking caffeine, I don't know, that's up to you. But I'd say rest up, brother. Let yourself just sleep. Magic. I caught the last few minutes of Only Your Lies and I heard part of a song. Beautiful. Appreciate you, Marcy. We're doing some sort of alternate tuning right here, but... alternate tunings, man, I swear. They sometimes just like break my brain. In a good way, I suppose, but it's like a challenge. Getting a lot of Pacific Northwest road trip forest reels in my FYP. Wow. Yo, that's awesome, dog. I swear, that kind of stuff is like nature as a whole, it's life changing. Like, you know, I live in BC, I feel blessed to do that. The idea is at any given time, I can just go into the forest. You know, if I want to go to a trip and go, you know, spend a couple days in the beautiful, deeper parts of BC, it's like that's an actuality because I live, you know, so close to like endless forests. But I feel that same way though in a deeper sense where like I'm looking forward to, you know, just cashing some YouTube paychecks one day where I can literally like, you know what? I'm just gonna go to Japan or go to California or Thailand and go excuse me, go spend like, you know, weeks in some remote oasis in Thailand or something, you know, maybe do some psychedelics and shoot some content in some kind of jungle or something. Like, I'm just looking forward to just like breaking open the model, like, you know, just getting to a place where I'm like creating this beautiful community, but doing so from a place of just like genuine, authentic freedom, which is what I'm just hyped for, bro. But I love my home. I love BC. I agree, brother. This is medicine. Thoughts of balancing comfort and discomfort, balancing discomfort and comfort. DHL Express Online. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, but no, I think truthfully, okay, discomfort. Like, if we're really talking about discomfort, like emotional, physical, uh, yeah, psychological discomfort, right? I think a lot of us, truthfully, are drowning in the depths of comfort. You know, we're living in a modern 2026 context where a lot of us, we pretend, we think we know discomfort. We're like, oh yeah, I like, I don't know, getting out of bed early to commute to a job or maybe lift some this, that, or lift some heavy weights. Not bad, not bad things. Discomfort is, these are real discomforts. But let's be real here, is a lot of us, if we were like to face true discomfort, we would be like paralyzed. We would be so profoundly apprehensive that we would, yeah, be paralyzed. We wouldn't actually realize what is on the other side of. Oh, disconnected, reconnected. But yeah, it's almost like in the simplest way, I think a lot of us are not in our modern 2026 context experiencing true discomfort. Now, again, if you're maybe a person watching this stream that you live in some remote village where there's like warfare going on or some sort of like intensive like strife, you know, maybe you don't fit that definition, but a lot of us, we're drowning in discomfort, we're drowning in comfort. We're drowning in comfort, right? We have all these leisures, all these conveniences, all these comforts that the true, if you define like actual discomfort, like, you know, if we're saying, balance discomfort and comfort, no, most of us just need to get uncomfortable. Like, we need to engage in discomfort. We need like genuine, whether we're talking about plunging into freezing cold waters or pushing our body doing sprinting or, you know, going and engaging in emotionally uncomfortable situations, like, you know, social dynamics that are really pushing ourselves out of our comfort zone. You know, these are just examples that I personally engage in all the time, but it's like, yeah, a lot of us, we've lost the primal role of discomfort. So maybe there's other people that, you know, they unfortunately have been hit with so much adversity, so much strife, that discomfort is a very active reality, and that's a whole nother thing. That's more about trauma or dysregulated nervous systems and, you know, stressors and all these things. But when we're talking about just genuine discomfort, most people were drowning in comfort. You know, we have our phones that are nullifying us and numbing us with comfort. We live in these modern societies that are so just built for comfort that we as human beings, as primal beings, have forgotten the role of discomfort. So basically what I'm saying, and this might sound, you know, very like classical, maybe even hyper masculine or masculine, is you got to push yourself out of your comfort zone. You got to you got to do the thing. You got to really engage in discomfort. Not because you want to, you know, necessarily live in this realm of discomfort always. No, it's because most people have forgotten the role of discomfort. And of course, I'm sure in many rights, in some situations, I fit this in exact category. You know, I'm not exempt to being in that same place, right? We need discomfort. It plays a sacred, primal, ancient role that a lot of us, especially as men and women, but as a man, understanding the importance of engaging in discomfort and how a lot of modern men have completely just disconnected from that. It's unfortunate. It's a YouTube live time, Rusty. Just got born. What? This is, yeah, this is a YouTube live stream. It's not the real world. Don't mistake that for this. Good luck figuring it out. Good luck with AI. Just trying to learn finger picking and find the fluently play on the One Last Breath by Creed. That's a nice song. Opening riff is hard to play. Interesting. Interesting. I'm kind of curious what this riff is. I think I know because someone asked me to play that song. Might have been you. But I'll be honest, a lot of fingerstyle isn't necessarily that difficult, but it's it requires a foundational awareness of isolating, you know, your fingers. I'm in an alternate tuning, so that's that didn't make sense really. But the idea is that a lot of fingerstyle, it's actually not that complicated, right? Once you understand the foundations of, oh, each finger has very specific ways of isolating roles, and the same thing applies to, you know, tapping, where you're doing double-handed tapping and engaging in different things. You know, the fingers in fingerstyle have very specific roles, and I get it for a lot of fingerstyle if you're playing, you know, Creed songs like that, where you're probably playing like, you know, little isolated little pieces and doing little interesting chord arrangements. A lot of it, again, it's foundational. Let me look at the actual song itself. One Last Breath. So 205002. Yeah. Okay. So that seems pretty basic, but I imagine, again, it's like I'd have to look more in depth to the actual song, but I feel like so much. Do you ever contact juggle with fire? Contact juggle with fire. If I could ever find a contact juggle ball that I could use with fire, I would absolutely love to do that. But no, I've never done that, dog. I would love to though. I don't play covers. Yeah, I'm also an alternate tuning. Can you do the finger dance thing with the lights on? Yeah, bro. Yeah. I think you follow me on Instagram. You follow my Instagram. I do that all the time. I go to raves and just like do crazy dope stuff. You know, finger tutting, regular tutting. It's all great stuff, man. Let's see, liked. Thanks, bruv. What's with chat? Chat is chat's going through it, I think. I mean, right now chat's chill, but it's like, I swear, I don't know, like I'm grateful to have a larger surge of engagement. You know, naturally, I'm trying to build watch hours. I'm trying to grow this channel and, you know, build this channel as a whole. But it's so funny to see in the last 24 hours how, like, you know, usually it's like 90%, 95%, like, guitarist, meditative type, this, that, the other. But then there's been an interesting wave of, like, people that are, I don't know, just not my target audience that somehow seem to just pop in here. And it's an experience. It's a learning experience for us all. It's like, I'm like, what? Like, we got unhinged motherfucker here, some dude complaining and whining about jazz, and it's I don't know, it's a weird experience. Like, this is YouTube for ya. 1212, word, we're at 1212. 1212 subscribers. What a dope thing. Interesting. Likes versus dislikes, 95.7%. Wild. Wow, I've achieved my first couple dislikes. Amazing. Well, that's fun. It seems like when I get a larger audience, that brings in the random few that are just like tossing me some dislikes. I got haters. I'm doing something right. This is magic. This is crazy. So to balance comfort and discomfort, simply ask yourself, what area is aching to grow in times of discomfort? And relish in comfortable moments, allowing yourself to rest fully in awareness of the comfort. Yeah, that's a beautiful answer, I would say. I would say, surely it's, even like, I'll be honest here, like if we're really talking about the quintessential modern discomfort that I'm talking about, yes, it's about understanding resistance. It's about understanding that moment when your mind is trying to resist engaging into the unknown, engaging into discomfort. That's really what I'm really trying to address, the underlying context of why, yes, comfort versus discomfort. It's about understanding your relationship with resistance of, like, say you're like, oh, maybe I should go to the gym today, or maybe I really want to go to the gym, or maybe I know it's healthy to go to the gym, but then part of you has this like weird, nervous system response where your mind's like, well, I don't really know if I want to do that, or maybe I feel like so comfortable to sit at home and eat some chips and play some video games or something. I don't know if that's your inclination, right? And you're like, there's this like resistance, like there's this wave of resistance where your nervous system is basically getting into this place, because that's what it all comes down to, is your nervous system. Is in many rights, people have these weird, compromised, dysregulated nervous systems where they're not taking action in their life. They're not understanding what it actually looks like to engage in something like discomfort, because discomfort is literally just a part of life. Like, let's be real here. It's the simplest, right? Is comfort is a part of life in some regards, especially in the modern society. Discomfort is also a part of life. And it's not necessarily about being like, all right, you got to only engage in discomfort or fixate on discomfort, like David Goggins or something. But no, it's about realizing discomfort is a part of life. And you should never truly, evade discomfort, even if it means growth, even if it means like bettering yourself, figuring out how to expand and align yourself with the deeper dimensions of your experience and the beautiful things you want to experience in life. Like if discomfort is stopping you, again, from resistance, like you're resistant to be like, you know what, I probably should go to the gym, or I should probably go to the social dynamic, or I probably should, go to this open mic and perform this song or whatever. This is a powerful lesson. Like, these are messengers. These are lessons that are trying to teach you extraordinary things. It's a part of life. Discomfort is an active part of life. And it's almost like when people are trying to evade discomfort, they're evading life itself. They're evading truly living the depths of the richness of the whole human experience. So that's the deeper problem. It's not comfort versus discomfort. It's, why are you resisting a fundamental part of life? Why are you evading truly living your life, even if it involves discomfort? Because that's the thing is, yes, there are going to be uncomfortable parts of life. But guess what? As a human being, as a man, particularly being a man, you gotta engage anyways. You gotta see what's on the other side of this discomfort. You gotta do the thing. You gotta take action. You gotta figure out, how you can really just engage and do the things that need to be done in this world. The things you want to accomplish in this world. It's just, there's so much, I guess the longest simple piece is, yeah, there's so much powerful lessons on the other side of discomfort. And it's a very, I'd say, it's a very dysregulated thing to try to evade discomfort, because you're evading powerful, important lessons that you do want to live, you want to experience, you want to apply these lessons to live a full, balanced life. But absolutely, to Rusty's, I am really just accentuating or expanding off what the homie's saying, yeah. Bearded Viking Woodworks. David Pac-Man. Interesting. I'm not quite sure what you're saying there, but is that another YouTuber? I like that his name is all highlighted. Ah. Yeah. Interesting. Nice. Interesting. So when you are uncomfortable, interesting. I didn't know this bearded Viking guy's. It's got a pretty large following. That's cool. Yeah, welcome, friend. When you're uncomfortable, do not immediately search for relief. Sit with it. Yeah, it's all about just I think understanding like that dimension of resistance. Like again, it's I love to draw the same connection with cold plunges, right? You know, I did cold plunges for 40 days every single day with sprinting. I do sprinting and cold plunges. They sprinting was probably more difficult than the cold plunges, without a shadow of a doubt. But the idea was for a period, you know, there was so much resistance. And, you know, even to this day, if I want to go do a cold plunge and it's like snowing, which it kind of is, that's probably going to be met with a bit of resistance. But I'm going to do it anyways, right? It's like I'm going to act, act even if resistance and discomfort is present. And that's a really important thing, I think, as a whole. For favors, a young Michael Beck, the movie The Warriors. Now let's catch up on these comments here. So I'm between 5 and 5'6". Please give me some advice to gain confidence and get girls inspired by Bruno Mars. Interesting. I mean, truthfully, there's a parallel. Like that's the kind of thing, you know, I like to offer people perspective, you know, especially younger men and people about sure understanding the opposite sex, you know, understanding how you can really just learn to be confident as a whole. But these are foundational things. Like I could speak about these things all day long because there's many different avenues I think to understand. But probably the most pressing and vital elements of why you maybe find yourself feeling, you know, maybe insecure or lacking confidence has more to do with your relationship, likely, again, I don't know the entirety of your situation, with the real world. Like this is the thing is, yes, there are all these little elements of, you know, maybe your ability to understand social dynamics and maybe communicate and maybe, you know, just become a confident man and understand what it means to be a man, a person, a human being, right? And root yourself in what these things are. But fundamentally, I think a lot of people in this modern society, we really fail to understand, again, like I've repeated this a few times through this stream, the pivotal role of living in the real world. So basically what I'm saying is, if you're finding yourself maybe fixated on things like your height, right? You think, women are attracted to this, that, the other thing. Maybe you're going through dating apps or you're interacting with people on the online sort of world, right? And you have this weird little one-dimensional blip of what you think, you know, matters in the greater context of creating and developing a healthy, aligned romantic partnership. And you fixate on this one little piece of it that you've extracted from something like social media or dating apps, which again, you know, I answered this question earlier when someone asked about what I think about dating apps, and a lot of different things that are very awry. But the simplest piece of this is I've met, again, the last couple of years, the romantic partners that I've had in my life, that I've had very lasting, like long lasting, very fruitful, aligned relationships that have been like the best I've had in my life. Now, this is, I think, present for a number of reasons, more relating to myself. But the reality of it is, I've met these people in the real world. You know, I'll tell you invariably, if you're trying to pretend that a dating app or some sort of social media one-dimensional interaction even holds a flame remotely to what you will actually experience in the real world, unfortunately, you're greatly mistaken. You know, fundamentally, we as human beings, we need to experience each other in the real world. What I'm simply saying is, all these little things that you're maybe stressing about, your mind is creating this bigger emphasis too. You know, you're thinking about this, that, the other thing. These things honestly fundamentally don't matter when you find people, like a woman, that is, you know, if you're into women naturally, where it's like you resonate with, that you align with, you know, your personality, your real, like the deepest sense of compatibility is present. And this is the thing that's a very important thing to understand. You know, as a man that's gone, navigated the dating world, had some successful relationships, I'm telling you is that you will find increasingly more aligned partners in your life. That is, if you are unconsciously able to successfully raise your standards, where you realize, why would you desire to compromise? Like, you know, if you look at yourself and you think, no, I'm attracted to this person maybe, or I think this person's a good fit or partner or whatever, based on, you know, whatever you intuitively might think or what society has programmed you to see, in many rights, you're probably compromising. You're probably compromising. You know, you're not realizing that in the simplest right, there are partners out there that are perfect for you, that are aligned with you on a value perspective, on a psychological realm, on a, you know, chemistry, uh, etc., all these ways. Like, there are women that are perfect for you. That is the absolute truth. Billions of people out there, you know, millions and billions of women or whatever it is in the metric, and you realize that, yeah, there is 1000% women that are perfect for you. Now, this is part of the fallacy, the one-dimensional narrative of a dating app. You have this delusion that we're all, you know, reinforcing that, oh yeah, you think that there's all these partners that you think have some sort of compatibility. Maybe they do, who knows, I don't know. Maybe that's some sort of alignment. But what I'm telling you is, invariably the ones that are going to align with you on the deepest level, and this is just from my personal experience, is the ones that are in the real world. These are the ones that are you organically are seeing and finding in the real world. You know, in the real world context, you're reading each other's body language, you're meeting each other in the real time, you know, in the real world, with a shared, you know, a shared system of choices that brought you to this moment. Like, you know, whether it's on the dance floor or the beach or an open mic. Personally, I meet tons of women on the dance floor. I mean, I'm also a tutter. I'm a dancer, performance artist. Like, I'm very comfortable within my ability to dance and connect non-verbally. And this also says a lot about a person. When you dance with them, you learn a ton about people immediately. It's like an energetic thing. But anyways, what I'm simply saying is, in my experience, you'll have far more success. You'll meet higher quality, more aligned human beings in the real world. The dating apps, a lot of us, we live in a delusion. We live in a powerful, culturally reinforced illusion and delusion that we think dating apps even hold a remote flame to the things that you will find in the real world. I'm showing you time again and again, over the years of having healthy relationships just appear on the same construct of the real world. The real world's where you want to find these people. If you're creating a belief system that you believe you're, you know, enough or not enough, or you're creating some sort of metric or parameters of what you think, you know, you are in relation to the opposite sex based on anything except for real world experience, I'm telling you, that's not real. That's not real. You know, if you think that partners are going to judge you heavily based on this, that, the other thing, if they are, like, if you're seeing women that are judging you like so deeply because of your height or because of weird materialistic things that are your control, these are probably not partners you want to have in your life, brother. And if they are, you know, and for whatever reason, that's just a sad sort of, again, reveal of their own character. But what I'm telling you is, most women, I mean, again, I'm not, fortunately, I'm 5'10" and a half or something, or that's like, I'm a average height. But I've also, you know, some people would say like I'm like shorter, or like they're like, oh, maybe they're 6, they want someone 6 that or whatever. Those women, they're probably heavily programmed and delusional, and not to, you know, throw salt at them. That's just in the unfortunate reality. And if you meet people that are aligned with you in the real world, they will transcend a lot of these weird materialistic things that people think are the, you know, the perimeters. Anyways, I'm always like going off on talks, missing the greater totality of the chat. But hey, that's, yeah. Beast is a great human being, I gotta say. Like, he's been like, I don't know, I just randomly had him connect when I was like, had very little people on these streams, and I remember just like, you know, hearing his story, and he seems chill as fuck. I want a girl to share my joys and share life, and I respect women will have. Yeah. Well, there, Beast, that's, you're already very much, you're partway there, brother. Like, you're already on the right path. Like, yeah, like Pretzel said, 'cause that's just true, brother, because it is really important to genuinely appreciate, not fixate, but appreciate feminine energy. Like, to honor it, to actually genuinely honor and understand how magnificent, how beautiful, how extraordinary feminine energy is. And yes, like, it's a complex thing because, you know, a lot of people, a lot of men, unfortunately, in modern society, we heavily fixate. We are hypersexualized. We fixate on these one-dimensional, you know, lust-filled narratives. And again, there's nothing inherently wrong with sexuality. Sexuality is beautiful. It's sacred. It's a primal part of the human experience. It's not something to try to shame or suppress. Sexuality is beautiful. But obviously, there's so much deeper dimensions of the feminine experience that goes way beyond the sexuality. That is just a beautiful, you know, biochemical evolutionary thing that is magic. It's beautiful. You know, it's like an extraordinary part of the human experience. But 1000%, if you can honor and respect a woman, understand how to see past a lot of this like societal and cultural programming, you're already like a major step in the right direction. So I'm confident in you, brother. Like, you seem to have a good head on your shoulders, and I'm sure you'll attract a magnificent partner, if not very soon. And like, even beyond that, like, again, take my words with a grain of salt, but I'm telling you, brother, as a guy that's had extraordinary success, just pushing myself into the real world, pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, you know, going into dance floors, going into beaches and places where, you know, you just love to be. This is where you're going to find partners, you know, women that are aligned with these same values. And then suddenly, you know, you can find these things. Man, this stream has just flown by. Well, like 2.5, we're coming up to 2 hours and 15 minutes. Damn. I don't know. I gotta say though, I've been blessed. I feel blessed that each of these streams, the watch hours has been consistently rising. So hey, man, like that's the way. I feel I'm doing something right, even if it's like somehow some people are a little bit off put. I have Brahmaria 2 years now. Last summer I met my soulmate. Yeah. Honestly, yeah, love is beautiful. We love love. It's beautiful to like, you know, literally just be able to just see the way the universe wants to bless you with incredible people and experiences. The more we just like open our hearts and humble ourselves, and it's a beautiful thing. Wicked. Shared a bed but never kissed in an incredibly sweet relationship. Connection's crazy when you don't release the energy and build into each other. Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, I've had parallels of both relationships. Ones that are like deeply emotionally contextual and spiritual and less focused on that primal like chemistry and desire. I've had ones that are filled with that. You know, it's just a very passionate but also very emotionally rich relationship. I think, you know, we allow ourselves to just really attract and experience what we need to heal, what we need to grow and expand as human beings. But I think naturally, like, I'm a student of transmuting sexual energy. You know, I spoke of this very openly. I speak of this very actively, of like basically understanding how to transmute energy, like understand things like Tantra. And basically the essence of that is, yeah, it's learning to stretch out, to heighten, and really just really accentuate the experience, the energetic experience of sexual energy, which aligns with obviously every single realm of it in the natural sense. But and our moment of now presence will pass without knowing what happened. Interesting. Pass through and find the grace. God listens manifesting. Noticing, feeling emotions through thoughts and guidance change us. Interesting. Yeah. That's some beautiful words. Yeah. Let's go, brother. Happily lived life and die naturally, according to nature and the ultimate peace and comfort in life. Happily live life and die naturally. I can see this. I agree with that, brother. Yeah. The natural, yeah, the simple natural life, surrounded by good energy and just, yeah, peace and happiness. order to stay hydrated. Absolutely. I think I need to hydrate more. I've been like talking, I get dehydrated. Yeah. Traveling the country and blowing glass in nature and going to Hindu temples. That's magic. That's magic. Wow. What's my genre? My genre, this genre that I play a lot is like I just call them like meditative sound journeys. That's often using like flamenco, classical guitar. That's almost like modern classical fingerstyle guitar. But I make many different genres. Like I play punk rock, alternative rock, psychedelic rock, and then I just like improvise a lot, especially on these streams. I also like modern progressive rock fingerstyle guitar. Just like a blend of genres. Yeah. Interesting. Thank you, dog. Can make a skull ornament to make it even cooler. Yeah, if I desired, I know like I want to get a trippy like dark red bandana. I actually ordered one. Looks very beautiful. Yeah. Beautiful. I'm from Canada. I'm actually not far from a Shea movement. 6-hour drive. Word, yeah, I remember you. Yeah, I remember you talking about that a while back. Yeah. Yeah. Canada's beautiful, honestly. I feel very blessed to just be born here and live here, but I mean, I want to travel. I want to travel the world like crazy, but I'll always be happy to return. Yeah. It's cool. I didn't know Macaulay Culkin was a musician. Nice, nice. Thanks. Crash Out Carl. Yeah, man, you should visit. Beautiful. That's oddly specific. That's very specific. A rejected borderline mid-range boss. Man, I don't even know what that is, but I mean, thanks, dog. Thanks. I'll take that as some sort of high praise. I don't know. That's your creative way of saying I look cool or something. Thank you. I try to just speak truths. And just from my experience, I feel very grateful to have learned certain things and brought together, just live a life that I feel really grateful for. And that's a huge reason why I have this channel. It's like I feel like there's so many beautiful things I feel grateful for. Be it if it's just music, the ability to just play guitar, to just live my truth, have beautiful people in my life, beautiful love and energy. And it's like these are things that I feel like is a huge part of what I just want to embody and be able to bring to this channel. Like it's really that simple, right? Till the shame be said to you. That's amazing. Appreciate you, Pretzel. Appreciate you, brother. I'll probably end the stream the next like 5-10 minutes. I think we're hitting the 2.5 hour mark. Gianna. I probably will go live a little later, but I've been going live for about 2.5 hours now, so probably in the next 5-10 minutes we'll exit. But yeah, it's very likely in the next like 4 or 5 hours I'll probably do another stream. I like to do like later streams. Yeah. listened to Rabia Masad. Can't say I have. Can't say I have. Rabia. Getting a call. Weird. I have no idea what low bombs is. Yeah. Share legendary movement skills. Thanks, dog. You're always such good energy, my friend. Bless. We just here to just, keep it real, try to embody an intention that, is creating ripples. Like, it's the funny thing is, like, being in this place where, these last few days, the views have been just kind of boosting, and being in this place where I'm feeling, like, really grateful. And it's interesting to see the natural progression of, like, the community is growing, there's people that are aligned, there's, some people that are sort of like the outliers that pop in and kind of just seem to be very, like, tumultuous. It's like that's just the nature of it. It's almost like if you're not attracting some realm of polarity, some people that are like projecting this, or I don't know, maybe just unhinged in the nature of what they are, trolls, I guess, even if you will, then it's kind of like, you're not maybe really on the front or the front lines of what you're trying to do. It's interesting. I don't know. Again, I like to be a student of these things. Like, I'm a very active student of YouTube, YouTube land, of being like, all right, navigating these waters, what is the way to allow myself to really like crystallize my intention and grow a successful channel in the deepest right. And it's interesting to see that there's just so much we can learn, even from those that aren't trying to, teach you things, like those that are just there to maybe project all their insecurities and their own projections. And like, that's okay. Yo, thank you. Appreciate you, Silver. Fair enough, dog. I'm sure it's like getting late as fuck. Peace, man. Hope you, yeah, best of luck getting your new guitar, and just like, yeah, dog. Hope things align beautifully with you, my friend. Yeah. I'm pretty hyped though, man. 2 days. Gonna have a fucking Ibanez guitar. Like, man. It's just gonna be bliss, man. It's exciting times. It's a relaxing channel. Thank you, brother. I do try. I try to create a meditative space. And I feel like it's beautiful because like even when like chat kind of, engages a sort of a lengthy sort of whatever, it's like a lengthy experience. I feel like it's always a reminder. Like, even if it's like, I'm finding myself try to engage in the dialogues, or maybe it's just like people trolling or whatever, is always a reminder. But you know what? I have the ability to root myself, to set the tone, to create this meditative space. It's like a lesson to be like, okay, here is now the ability to maybe root myself even deeper in my intention to create this safe meditative space and allow myself to naturally gravitate towards the things that do that, right? This is what I see. So, birds. Word. Be well, bro. Bro, it's gonna be nuts. Yeah, it's gonna be nuts. I mean, I haven't played an electric guitar in like 2.5, 3 months because my other electric guitar got busted. But yeah, it's exciting. Yeah, it's an electric. Yeah, Ibanez. It's a RG3 something something, bunch of numbers. It's a red eclipse burst electric. It's very beautiful. Very excited to have, yeah, this new Ibanez. It'll just be fun just rocking out, because, you know, that's like my roots, right? As a guitarist, I started as a punk rocker, you know, metal, shreddy guitarist. Like, that's my roots. Like, that's what I was doing when I was like 10, 11, 12 years old. I was freaking just rocking out. And I love to rock out. And it's like, not having an electric guitar these last few months has actually been kind of challenging, but of course, I also deeply love the acoustic. But you can do so much cool stuff, man. That guitar costs $56K in India. Interesting. The Ibanez? What is 56K in Indian? All I know is that the guitar I'm looking at, it's about, I think, 1,000 new, and I bought it mint condition from Reverb for about $800. I like haggled them down, but $800 Canadian. I don't know how that's Canadian to Indian. Okay, so yeah, that's about the same. Yeah, 56,000 rupees. I'm aware my hat is this direction, my friend. That's the point. By the way, if Rabia piques your interest, interesting. Giving a 6, cool starting point. He's a beast. Word, okay. I'll check it out, So it's Rabia. Let me check. I think you said it at some point. Yeah, I can't find the thing. What's the Rabia? Oh, Rabia Peaks is the artist. Rabia Peaks. Giving 6. Pliny, Rabia 6, giving 6. Pliny, yo, Pliny's dope. Yeah, Pliny's dope as fuck. Oh, I see. Rabia Masad. Oh, okay. Different Rabia, yeah. Rabia. Yeah, I got like a completely different song, but that would seem dope as fuck as well. Yeah. Masad. Got you. Interesting, okay. Dope, yeah, thanks for sharing, dog. I must say, I'm probably after the stream, I'm probably gonna tune back to standard tuning. Do some more happy, silkier songs. This drop B, I love it so much. It's very ominous though, it's like very ominous. Honestly, it's 1.5 steps down. That is such a weird tuning. Feels good. Feels good. Feels good to be back in standard. Yeah. Beginning of chords G, a series of electric guitars, spent 300 Canadian dollars. Nice. Nice, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's got to start somewhere. I definitely started with a nice Yamaha that was like around the same price, yeah, when I was like much younger. Yeah, yeah, electric guitars are magic, bro. Like, honestly. There's a lot of cool videos about music gear for expanding your options in electric production interests. Nice. That's awesome, dog. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. Yeah. Man, it feels so good to be back in standard. Like, just the freedom of just knowing how to navigate all the scales. It's a fun challenge, though, to do all this stuff. Standard E tuning. So great. Magic. Magic. Recently finished a guitarist dream for the last 5 years and not so humble partcaster. It's time parted ways with it, like those Buddhist monks who make beautiful works of art. Interesting. That's such a beautiful thing. It's like such an interesting chapter, I feel, to create instruments. You know, I feel like in the future I would definitely love to create my own guitars and pan flutes. Like, I feel like I would definitely love to craft pan flutes in the future. I'm sure it's difficult, but also just such a unique experience, I feel. Honestly, I have no idea how to perform those songs innately, but I'm also not a cover artist here. And that being said, I don't want to get copyright infringements, which is, yeah, not the move. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, I think as we're approaching the 2-hour 40 mark, it feels weird to want to exit these streams as I got like a room full of people, but yeah, c'est la vie. Beast UG for knowing that. Nice. Yellow telly. Telecasters are dope, honestly. Yeah. Yeah, I guess, sir, though. Thank you so much for chiming in. Deeply appreciate you guys. Appreciate the support. And yeah, for those of you that are new to this channel, basically I teach guitar and I do meditative sound journeys, among various other sorts of things, yeah. Yeah, deeply appreciates. Thank you, bruv. Thank you. It's kind of experimental, I swear, the first bit, doing this drop B was a mindfuck, but yeah, nah, these are the breaks. Improv, you never know where. I need to drink some water. But again, yeah, thank you so much for chiming in. If you want to support this channel, feel free to subscribe. And yeah, remember to honor yourself and to honor each other. Mad love, much love, bless, ashe. Thank you. I feel like I should wait a moment to let people subscribe, but I don't know. Just, you know where to find me. Ashe.movement.